Welcome to You Can Call Me Goddess, because you're so much more than a queen. My name is Manouk Vink. I am a trained intuitive energy healer specialized in transforming your body and your life. In this podcast, we are going to be diving into everything to unlock the goddess that you are within you. Think of it as the ultimate glow up from the inside out. It's time to unlock your power. It's time to unlock your magic. So sit back and enjoy the show. Hi guys, and welcome back to another You Can Call Me Goddess podcast. In this episode, I felt like it would be good if we started talking a little bit about intuition. Because yes, I label myself as an intuitive and an energy healer, but what does that mean? What the hell does it mean to be an intuitive, and what is intuition really? Like, what is it, and how can you train it? Because to be honest, before I knew about being able to train your intuition, I didn't know that the capabilities that I have, that I was able to open those capabilities up. And so I wanted to dive into that today, because if you're anything like I was, you are going to benefit from understanding this. So basically, I don't know about you, but I used to be like one of those, I don't know about astrology girl, I guess astrology girl, but kind of like one of those girls that was always searching, because I knew there was always something more. And yes, I'm a Pisces, we're known as the dreamy zodiac sign that always feels like there is a fantasy out there and there's more out there. And that's true. I always felt like there was more. I always wanted like this magic to exist. I always felt like that there had to be some sort of magic. And I knew that there was a deeper meaning to a lot of things. So I would always be investigating these things. And to be honest, like from a very young age, I would already have like intuitive feelings about things, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. So I used to have these experiences where I would go to certain areas and like locations and get a feeling of that location, and it would give me panic attacks. So I actually had, when I was like 7 years old, we went on a field trip. So if you don't know about me and my story a little bit, I grew up abroad. So I didn't grow up in the Netherlands, where I'm originally from. So I'm from the Netherlands originally, but I grew up abroad. So I grew up in the Philippines, then we moved to South Africa, and then we moved to Germany for like 9 months, and then we moved back to the Netherlands. And this is all in a time span from 6 years old to 16. And then when I turned 19, I moved from the Netherlands to the UK, where I studied, and then moved back to Amsterdam, and now I'm living in Serbia. So I am literally all over. And eventually my dream is to move to the US. So that is in the works at the moment. But anyways, enough about that. A little bit about me, right? Basically, we went on field trips with schools, and we had just moved like a year. I don't even know how old. I think I was 7 or 8 years old. And we went for a field trip, because we were living in the Philippines at the time, to rice fields. And in these, like, it was like how they used to work on rice fields, and this whole, I don't fully remember, but it was like a museum, and it was like educational purposes of like the rice fields and what they used to do there and the history of it and all of this stuff. But the moment I got there, I started getting like immense panic attacks. Like I would start asking about death. I remember, because my mom, she was one of the chaperones or the parents that came with, and I would freak out. I couldn't breathe. Like I was panicking. And if you've listened to some of my other podcasts, I used to struggle with OCD, and this flared up around the same time. So there was a lot going on. I think like also due to my change in environment, like moving to a different country, but also knowing that I was a highly sensitive, intuitive being, soul. So we all are, right? We all are, which I'm going to get into in a little bit. So I felt that there was something off about the energy of this place. I actually should intuitively look in what happened there. I can do that. So, and I never actually got to do it. But anyways, I would have this, and I would have this with other situations, like about people. I would have this sixth sense about them and have like an icky feeling about them and just know. And even like when I got older, we would go to another place this was in South Africa, and I had the same feeling, like this icky, eerie feeling about it. And basically what I was doing, I was picking up on energies in that place. And now the more that I know about intuition, I was actually getting intuitive hits about that place and picking up on the energies, but I didn't know what I was filtering it through. I didn't have an understanding of it. And I always knew that there was something more. I always had this feeling, even when I would look at, and this is going more into the absent of light type energy, but even when I would look at certain, like I never watched horror movies because it freaked me out, but I would even hear the stories, and it's like I almost knew there was some truth to it. And so I had like these natural responses to some of these stories, and I would like do things that now make a lot of sense. Like when you start diving into the world of like absent of light energies and intuition and all of this stuff, you start thinking, oh my God, I intuitively just knew what I needed to do, or like had an idea of what I needed to do, and I was executing that. So it's very interesting when you look into that. And basically, when I was young, I always knew that there was something more. There was something to the magic of life. There was something to energies. There was something to, and we all know because everything is energy. Like, and there's no way to deny that. That is just the truth. But I always felt there was something more. I always felt that I could achieve more. I always felt like there was more to just this, like just the physical realm, and like there was something to the intuition and things like that. So I went on this journey, right? I went on this journey of trying to explore that. But I also never really felt like, let's say like a hippie. I wasn't the type that like some of the things, like when we talk about the spiritual matrix, which we've spoken about in some of previous podcasts, it's like this idea of what spirituality is meant to be like. And I did not resonate with that at all because that's not who I am. And the deeper of an understanding you start getting about intuition and the spiritual world, the more you realize you don't have to drink green juices and walk with bare feet on the ground and wear hippie clothing and not shave and meditate 24 hours to be spiritual. Like that is just like a matrix. It's not true. And there's also a lot of like negative, low vibe, low frequency understandings in the spiritual world. So I never resonated with that. But then I started finding like ways where I started exploring my intuition. And actually, I didn't even realize at the time that that's what I was doing. But I went to this other coach of mine who really empowered me back then. One of my mentors, how long ago is that now? Like 8 years ago or something. And she would do intuitive trainings with us, but I didn't realize that that's really what we were doing. Like we would do like chakra healings, we would try and read other people's energies, but I didn't realize that I was actually trying to tap into my intuition. I know that sounds crazy, but I didn't realize that I was like doing that, right? Because I never understood like how this works. And a majority of us don't, because the information isn't widespread. It's not something that people know. And so what happened is obviously my higher self was leading me down this path, and I kept looking, right? Astrology, but for some reason, astrology didn't fully resonate with me. Like parts of it were just so accurate, but then it was too complicated and I couldn't quite figure it out. And I was like, I don't really want to be an astrologer. But I also loved helping people because I studied psychology, but I wanted to deep dive and help people, but not on the level that psychologists did, because that was like too statistic vibe and the DSM didn't resonate with me. I was like, yeah, but there's so many different ways. Like people, like we can't just look up in a book what's going on with someone, right? Like that didn't resonate with me, which ended up leading me down the road of personal training and self-development and like self-image and nutrition. And, that all of course coached me and ended up getting me to where I am today and understanding like so much more like the empowerment of yourself and seeing the power within you. But intuition literally changed the game for everything and made me realize so much more. And it was like everything started to click. So I even looked into human design, was diving into that, but something about that also didn't fully click, didn't fully resonate. So here I am, and I come across a fellow intuitive. I see her content, love her content, but then I get drawn to her mentor. And first I was like, what even is an intuitive? Like nothing about that really like made me feel like, oh, I want to study that. I was like, oh yeah, sure, an intuitive, because we don't know what it means. And I didn't understand what it meant. And honestly, all I wanted was to grow my business and my finances. That is what I wanted, and improve my relationship. So there were also some, because I thought maybe there were like some absent of light issues, which there are, but that's a topic for a different day. But basically, I was like, I just want to fix my relationship. I just want to make more money, and I just want to excel at my business. I want to see what's holding up everything in my career and why it's not booming the way that I feel like it should, and where am I blocking? That is what I wanted to know. So I started going down this path, and then I started diving into the financial mastery. So the spiritual energetic laws of finances, and everything started to make more sense. And the more I dove into this, the more I was like, every time I was like hearing, oh, but we can train our intuition ourselves, right? We can train our intuition ourselves. And I was like, that is crazy. Here I am knowing that there is more. Like there is more that I should be able to tap into. There should be, like, I have intuition. I've always known that I've been intuitive, but I didn't know how to fully train and step into that. Like, how are you supposed, because nobody tells you that that's possible. And hearing the word being an intuitive is such a blanket statement nowadays that we don't actually know what that means. It's like you go off of your feeling. Like even when you hear like intuitive eating, is it intuitive? No, it's most likely emotional, because we don't know how to differentiate between intuition and emotion. So when you're like, I've intuitively feel that I need to eat this, how do you know? You haven't connected with your body. You might just have a craving for something, and that goes back to something other in your energetics. Like look into like the energetics of nourishment. If you're craving sweets, is that actually what your body needs, or is it something else that your body needs? So how can you differentiate between that? Intuitive training, same thing. A lot of the time when you look into that, is it intuitive or is it an emotional response? Like, do I actually want to move my body? Do I actually need to move my body? Or is it something that I'm forcing myself to do? Or am I intuitively feeling that I need rest? Or am I telling myself that I need rest because I just don't feel like it, right? So all of these things are things that people say that they're intuitively training or intuitively eating, or it's like, but do you actually know what it means to intuitively train or to intuitively eat? Listen, I didn't know what that meant. Like I knew what it meant. Like I knew what intuition meant, but I didn't actually know what it meant to scientifically train your intuition until I did it, until I honed in on my gifts. And the magic that starts to happen when you do this is absolutely insane. Like, listen, the first thing that I started to do when I started understanding the spiritual scientific laws of finances and money, and actually how it all has to do, like the majority, a lot of it, not all, but the majority of it has to do with how you perceive yourself and your own value. And when I started honing in on those tools and I started shifting those belief systems, and the instant results that I started getting, I was like, holy shit, this shit works, right? This shit works. So that got me going, and I was like, wait, but I want to train my intuition. I want to be able to do all of this. So, and I could, and I can. And I was like, wait, I can do this? Like, and it's the most amazing, cool thing. So I started training my intuition. I moved very fast. I opened up my gifts quite quickly. And I feel like there's still so many more levels and things that we can achieve with intuition. But the cool thing of this work is realizing how it works, and also understanding that we all have the capability to do this because we all have intuition. You know, that feeling that you get when you see someone and you have an instant reaction to their energy, that is your intuition. That feeling of when you're like away from someone like me, with my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, ooh, something is off. And I texted and I literally was like, are you at a bar? And I intuitively got that he was at a bar. He would never go to bars. And he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, I just knew that you were at a bar. I just intuitively knew that you were there. Like just intuitive knowings of how things are going to pan out or what's going to happen. We all have it. We all have experiences of how you've tapped into your intuition before or had a gut feel about something and you were right about it. But imagine now that you know that you have that, you can start training it like a muscle. That is the coolest thing, right? And I didn't even realize that that was possible. And I want to tell you that that's possible. So basically, this changed the game for absolutely everything because I don't know, I was always the girl like years ago. I remember right like before I trained my intuition, I remember going shopping and feeling like so nervous about spending money on something that I would like need to call my mom to get some sort of like reassurance that it's okay, that I can spend that money and that it's going to be all right. Like that type of reassurance, or when making a decision, like needing to constantly get reassurance from the outside that the decision that I was making was the right decision. And now the thing with intuition is that you never, ever, ever have to do that anymore. You never have to do that anymore because you will have the right answer. Because here's the deal. When you tap into your intuition, the thing is, we hear about mediums, we hear about people that can read people. And this was my other mentor, the one that I learned from before I started training my own intuition. She could energetically read people, like cool thing, right? So I thought she was just like picking up on everything that I was thinking. But in reality, we all have the ability to do that. We just haven't been trained to do that. So even this person that was reading other people, she might have been picking up on certain energies and getting information, accurate information, but not knowing what questions to ask, how to get the direct answers. Like there is so much to intuition that is so much more intrinsic than you would think. Like when you first start out with this, you don't like when you hear about intuition, it's still like vague, right? It's like, okay, tapping into your energy, getting readings, seeing timelines, getting answers. But when you hear about a psychic, right? Or a medium or someone who reads people, the majority of people that do this, they are picking up on energies, yes, but they don't know which energies they're picking up on. And the danger with that is they can predict something, but that prediction could change based on the question that you ask or based on where you're channeling the information from. So from what source you're getting it from. So if I'm channeling source or my higher self, and I'm asking the right questions and I know how to direct those questions to those channels of information, then there is a likeliness that I'm going to get the right answer. However, again, when you start training your intuition, you'll understand, like, depending on the questions you ask, like your intuition is only as good as the questions you ask. So when you just blanketly ask a question like, am I going to be successful? There's so many components to that. What does successful mean to you? By when? By tomorrow or next week? How successful? In what area of life? So do you see how that question can be so vague and then you don't know what you're actually going to get? So even if am I going to be rich? Again, so many things going on here. What is rich to you? Like how much money is rich? For some people, having family around them and not necessarily financial gain is rich, right? And then are there any things that are going to throw you off of that path? There are so many components when it comes to intuition that you don't know, the majority of us don't know about unless you train your intuition and you start understanding how to channel this information. And when we go to a psychic, they may be picking up accurate information, but they may be channeling maybe a darker energy that you don't know about because they don't know who they're channeling. They don't know how to direct that energy somewhere. They might be reading your creator field and that might just be telling you about a self-doubt that you have, but not about your future or what you're going to be doing. They also won't be able to pull, like maybe they'll pull that, oh, you're gonna break up with this person in 2 weeks. But what if you're not meant to break up with that person, but they can't read that because they're not getting that accurate information? Do you see? I hope you're understanding where I'm going with this. Like, it's so much. Listen, I've been training this for quite a while now. And when you start understanding all the components, like all the levels of this, it starts making sense. But what I want the takeaway to be with today's podcast is that you have the ability to do this. Basically, when I started training my intuition, I started understanding how this worked. A world opened up for me. So think about any question that you have right now. Like, why am I struggling right now with financial gain? When you have your intuition, you can tap in to multiple forms of intuition and get the answers to that. If you're deciding to make a purchase or not, and you're not sure, like even if it's just a dress, like should I buy this dress? Am I going to be happy with this dress in 30 days from now? Or because I don't know about you, but I've had where I bought something, I liked it in the moment and then I never wore it. Like even with purchases like that, you never have to call your mom and be like, Mom, what do you think? You can just ask intuition and you'll get the answer. When it comes to your body and transforming your nutrition and your training, you can tap into specific fields to get accurate information, which is what I also do with my clients, on how to train, what to eat, what exercises to do, how regularly you need to be training. And that could be different for every single one of you. So you might only need to train 2 to 3 times a week. Maybe you only need to train once a week to get the results that you desire. Maybe it's not even something to do with training. Maybe it's an energetic block that you're experiencing, and that's why you're not getting the results that you desire. Maybe your body doesn't respond well to the nourishment that you're getting, or you're not getting the right nourishment because you never intuitively tapped into your energetic body to see what your body truly needs. It changes the game for your body, like what you desire for your body shape. Wow. To get your body the way that you want it to be looking. It changes the game for relationships. Like if you're doubting whether like a guy is into you, you could literally intuitively tap into their energy and pull, is this guy like actually into me? Are we even meant to be together? Like this literally changed the game for everything. Like I had questions about this as well. And now I can just intuitively tap in and get the answer. I'm sure you've had that feeling before where you're like, wait, is this guy ghosting me? Like, why is he like, is he even into me? Like I would drive myself crazy. I'd be like, am I like crazy that I feel like there's a spark there, but it's not? Now I don't have to drive myself crazy. I can just intuitively tap in and literally see what this guy is thinking about me or what he feels about me. Or even if I'm like what I'm meant to learn from this situation, you can even shift when you start really training your intuition, certain timelines, or stop things from happening by learning the lesson. So everything in your life is created to get you moving forward, to get you on your soul path pull, to get you achieving your destiny, what is meant for you. That is literally everything. So everything from relationships, from your financial situation, from struggles with the body, from anything, your pets, everything is guiding you to achieve what you're meant to be doing in this life. So every obstacle is here for you to grow. And I've said this to multiple times to multiple of you. If you've heard this before from me, then I'm sorry. I'm going to repeat it again because it's the best analogy that I can think of. But every obstacle is like a boss. Not that I play video games really, but I've watched people play video games, is a boss that you need to beat. And when you beat that boss, you can, like in a game, then you get to reach the next level. That's a freaking obstacle. An obstacle is literally there to get you achieving higher levels of success. If you beat the obstacle, you up level. But we see obstacles as something in the way, when in reality, it's something to improve our abilities, our creator field, our energy, our our skills. Like that's what it is. And I know it's sometimes hard to see that, but that's what that is. And literally that is one of the big components of my soul lesson, is to be able to see how these obstacles are helping overcome and actually helping me grow. They're not stopping me from creating. They're not stopping you from creating. And when you start understanding that your soul designed everything like that, you start seeing how everything is an upgrade. But the cool part about that, when you develop your intuition, you can see a massive obstacle in front of you. For example, a car crash that you might be going through. And when you tap in and you see that you could potentially be an energetic match to having a car crash, you can intuitively tap in and you can pull all the lessons that you would learn from that car crash and see if you could experience it in a different way so that you don't have to go through the car crash. So you could literally shift your timeline by making sure that you're no longer a match for certain circumstances. So for example, bankruptcy, if you're a match to losing all your money, you could see, okay, shit, I'm a match to losing all my money or even getting a fine. Then you could be like, okay, is there anything that I could pull, like information that I could pull to make sure that I can learn that lesson before actually having to go through it so that I'd never have to go through it. So these are like very advanced ways of how you can start using your intuition. But I just want to explain to you how vast this is, like how intuition changes the game of everything, because all intuition is reading energy, reading light. So all light carries information and everything is made up of light. So when we can read that information and pull the right information from it and get the real deep understandings of what this information, this light is telling us, we can intuitively tap into things. And when you train your intuition, you don't just randomly pick up on different things, but you actually direct your like a phone call, like a cable, you direct the information to where you want it to be coming from so that you make sure that you have the right source of information. And when you start playing around with this, it is going to help you so much in so many magnificent ways. Like there are so many topics that we can touch on. I even just said, even if it's just for your fitness goals, that's going to help you. It's for your financial decisions. That's going to help you. But even more importantly, it's like we are so far removed from who we are at our core because society, the world has been designed to disconnect us from our power. Why? Because they can profit more off of us when we are disconnected from our power. So what better way to disconnect us from our power than to disconnect us from our body and disconnect us from our intuition, disconnect us from our own freaking magic. So this society at the moment has almost like a lot of the things have been designed to disconnect us from our own intuition. Because imagine if everybody in this world knew that they could train their intuition and they could tap into their own power and actually see what they needed to do. That would be scary for the people at the top who are trying to profit off of us. Let's just say just profit off of us in many ways. That's something I want to dive deeper into in different podcasts when you guys are ready to hear it. But imagine how scary that is. That means that we are no longer brainwashed by everybody else. That means we actually know what we want at a core true self level. And now at this moment in time, we don't know how to differentiate between what we want, what other people want, and what our emotions want. Why is that? Because we don't know how to block out other people's thoughts, other people's belief systems, and we don't know how to differentiate between intuition and emotion. The moment you can differentiate between intuition and emotion, the moment you have the tools to block out or make clear whether someone's thought or a thought that you're having is yours or someone else's, when you can start doing that, you can start following the path that was meant for you. So if it at this moment and time, you are feeling like there's meant to be more, there's meant to be more for you, and you know that you can do more in this life, and you feel pulled to listen to this podcast, then I, without a doubt, know that you are meant to be training your intuition. You're meant to be tapping into this. You are a high frequency soul, and you are meant to open up this gift that you have. Because when you, and I'm telling you, every one of you listening to this has the gift of intuition. Every one of us does. We all have it. We've just been disconnected from using it. We don't know how to tap into it. We all have the ability to energetically feel in on things. Contrary to what you've been told, this is not something that some people have and other people don't. Sure, some people have a higher skill level at it, but just like anything else, you can learn and train it just like anybody else. It's just like going to the gym. Everybody can go to the gym. Everybody can build muscle. It's just whether you train to do it or you get the understandings to do it. And some people pick it up more naturally and are more skilled at it more easily than others. But that doesn't mean that you're not able to do it, right? And this is just talking about intuition. Energy work is a whole nother component. That is moving light. That is moving light into certain places, and that is and intending that certain things work. Like, that is a whole nother ball game, which is a topic that we'll talk about another day. But that is a way of healing with energy, which we also, the majority of us, has the capability to do. Again, skill level, is that what you're meant to be doing, right? Like, how can you start doing that? But we all have the capability to do it. If you think about it, we are all of source. So listen, I never grew up religiously, and there are a lot of you that have grown up religiously. I have not. Actually, my dad identifies as an atheist. My mom, however, she grew up Catholic, and she always felt some sort of connection. She's more spiritual. But we never got brought up with any religion whatsoever. But I always knew that there was more. And I always knew that there was I would always say, I feel like the universe is working for us. I feel like there is a path for us. I feel like, because it doesn't just come from nothing. Every fairy tale, every story, every bit of magic that you hear about, I was always like, that doesn't come from nothing. Like, these things don't just appear from, they have to, because they keep repeating, like in fairy tales, the similar things keep coming up. All of these stories keep coming, like, even if you think about like dragons, like, why do they keep coming up, right? Well, think about it. Like, if you don't believe, I don't know, I'd need to intuitively actually look in if dragons are real. I would love to figure that out. But look at it, Komodo dragons are. Look at like dinosaurs. That's not so far off a freaking dragon. Like, it's almost the same thing. So where is all of this coming from? It has to stem from some sort of truth. Like, I always knew there was something to it. But I never, with religions, only Christianity sometimes now that I hear about it, it's like, oh, that sounds accurate. Like, that makes sense. But I always knew that there was a bigger picture, that there was more to it. And so, yes, I mean, I'm not religious, but I believe in source, or as you guys want to call it, God, because I connect with him every day. So him every day. And I believe in energies, and I've always known that there was something bigger. And when you develop your intuition, you start to actually see. You actually start to see how all of this works and what you're capable of. And with intuition, you can make the smallest decisions, as should I go to this dinner tonight or not? Should I eat this today or not? Is this going to improve my health or not? Like, literally, the sky is the limit. You can connect with your pets. Like, if that's not the only, like for me, if that's not the only reason you want to learn how to become an intuitive or train your intuition, that was like, I was sold. The moment I heard you can talk to your pets when you develop your intuition, I was like 100% doing it tomorrow. Sign me up. But no, for real. How has intuition changed my life? Intuition changed my life in so many magnificent ways. Like, I feel so much more grounded in who I am. I'm so much more connected to my true core self. My business has grown immensely since developing my intuition. Like, never thought that this was all possible. I have been able to develop skills that I never thought I would be able to develop in a way that is it is just so much more than I ever imagined that I could do. I have the answers to all of my questions. I know what things are going to grow my finances and what things are not. I know what things are going to give me business growth and what things are not. I know how to navigate relationship stuff, even though it doesn't always, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. Just want to put that out there. But it does make understanding it easier, and it gives you the steps, and it's like a game. It's like you have the code to the game. That's what it is. It's like you have the code to the game that you're playing, and now you know what to do to change your reality. You now, when you develop your intuition, have everything that you need to take the steps to living the life that you desire. Because what you desire is meant for you it's meant for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't desire it, right? Like what you have envisioned for yourself is something that is meant for you. What you want in life, it's not just random. That is intuition. That is something that you know you need to be following a path that is meant for you. Like if you have an idea of what you want your life to be like, that is the visualization of what your life could be like, and probably even better. But when you don't know how to connect with your core self, or when you don't know how to connect with your intuition, you don't know how to get those answers. And even more so, when you start understanding the spiritual, energetic laws of the universe, even that will start to change your reality like crazy. By applying these things, it works. It works, and it works. That's all I have to say about it. And it's freaking cool when you start seeing how you can start pulling information, tapping into people's energies, getting results immediately when you start developing your intuition. And if I could tell you anything today, it would be go for it. Go train your intuition. It is going to make you money. It is going to improve your relationships. It is going to give you more self-confidence. It is going to allow you to predict the future. It's going to allow you to tap into your pets. It is going to allow you to understand what the real true reason for something is. Like there are so many things that you can do with it. And I wanted to share this today because I don't think we've spoken about this on this podcast really, about the intuitive component and why it's such a game changer and why I think it is important for everybody to start developing. Well, the majority of us should definitely start developing it so that you can, even if it's just to connect with who you are at your core. Because when you start living your life as your true core self, that is literally the key to you achieving everything that you desire. And it also will help you heal your self-image and heal self-love things, because intuition is going to give you the tools and the keys to you getting the exact steps to getting everything that you need to achieve the result that you desire. And to achieve the result that you desire, a lot of the time, it's going to be healing a self-love or a self-image wound or block. And with intuition, you are able to pull the exact information to start shifting these things. So, and I felt like you need to hear this, because if you're ever on the fence or you don't even know what it means to be an intuitive and you're like, oh, it's so cool, like what this is, can I do it for myself? 100%. 1000% you can do exactly what I'm doing. You just need to learn how to do it. That's it. You just got to put your training in. You just got to put your hours of mastery in. And I want to help you get there. I want you to have the tools because I know you're going to be amazing. I know it's going to open up your life and it's going to do so many magnificent things. So on that note, I wanted to do this podcast to show you, and hopefully even through the stories that I've told you, see and connect the dots where you've been intuitive, where you've had intuitive hits. Because the first step to honing in on your intuition is seeing that you have it, is seeing and rooting to the fact that you've always been an intuitive, and getting to connect with that, and then going from there. But if you're ready to take it to the next level, first of all, I would say check out the free membership. Inside the free membership, I have an entire series on intuition to get a better, deeper understanding of it. Then, if you're ready to take it to the next level and you want to start doing all the freaking cool, amazing things that I'm doing now with my intuition and that multiple people are able to do with their intuition, then reach out to info@nukesgoddessacademy.com and we will help you with the next steps. Anyways, beautiful souls, you have magic within you. You are a goddess. You have this amazing power, and all I want to do is help you unlock it. So part of that is developing your intuition. That is one part of it. And yes, if you can develop your intuition, it is going to be a freaking game changer. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I am so excited to see you guys in the next podcast and to see you in the webinars. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon.